were having a very fascinating discussion about Deion Sanders. And Warren was this close to getting me to believe that Deion's going to be super duper successful at Colorado. I'm still not all the way bought in, but and it started because Brett Favre was like, "Oh, Warren would make a great coach," and I'm like, "Warren Sapp would make a great coach? Get out of here!" And Warren's been down with Deion at Colorado. You've seen it all firsthand.
They pouring concrete. Just know this.
Y'all, and Seth, I'm gonna lump you in, even though I don't know your thoughts. Y'all all probably think the Deion thing's gonna work. Warren, you start us off.
I'm fully in, because the man is so consistent and patient with them young men, and then he surrounded himself with good coaches around him. It's not just him. It's not just him. If it was just him, I'd be like, Prime, you can't do this all by yourself, baby. You're a Florida boy, and I know we walk around with chips on our shoulders and think we walk on water, but that's just too much. He's got a great staff with him, and the kids are all in. When he's in front of them talking, I mean, it's almost like they're in a trance. And you know how that is when you got a football team on one beat. When you got a football team on one beat, we can do whatever we want to do because we're all rowing in the same direction. And when you have that as a football team, that's special. Yeah. I'm just telling you, he's a special individual leading a special group of men out there right now. And he brought, and it's him. He brought them all. This is his. So I'm just telling you what I saw with my own eyes. And if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have came home, got on a plane, went back to Dallas with him to TCU.
I just great players, I don't think, make great coaches.
Not always.
Not always. Usually never.
I don't think ever.
Usually never.
There's always an exception to the rule.
It is.
We'll name them.
Deion
Sanders will be that.
We won game.
No. He won at Jackson State, didn't he?
Wait, let me ask you a question before you go to Brett and then you end up with me about Deion. What is it about Deion besides him being a great player that makes you doubt that he can?
Arrogance. Arrogance. Okay. Arrogance.
A little male jealousy right there.
No. Listen, I know
what he did. You got to have that supreme confidence that you can go out there and shut out 1/3 of the earth.
I disagree. Warren, I've watched all you guys play, and I have tremendous respect. Did you finish runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year? And, I mean, you guys are all special-level players. I watched all of you play. You're incredibly gifted, and I think a lot of times incredibly gifted people have flaws that their gifts make up for, but they think their flaws are part of their strength. And Deion was not the greatest corner to ever play the game, in my opinion.
That's fine.
Because of his arrogance. God bless.
Just because of his arrogance.
No. I'm saying I don't think that's what made him great. God gave him some incredible gifts in the womb, and he maximized that and worked hard and did all that. But it's not the arrogance. The arrogance to me is a shield or a beard for some insecurity, and just to be quite honest, when I see people that over the top, when I see people, he's my age, we're 56, we're the same class. I see people still wearing gold chains at 56, that's some insecurity, and because I bought some gold chains. And
I never wore gold chain in the beginning, but I got me a nice Cuban now.
That ain't the level I'm talking about. He run around with Run DMC. And again, I'm not a Deion hater. I just
got a little male jealousy.
I don't. I really don't. I would love for Deion to be a success. Humility is at the foundation of all sustainable success. Sustainable success. Swagger and all this other stuff we love to talk about. We love to rap about it. We got to have it. Put it on display. That's all worthless.
But his patience.
Some of the things you were telling me
I'm telling you.
are humble acts.
I'm telling you.
The patience, the work ethic. You talking about when he's driving 90 minutes to go coach high school football. That's humility.
Yes.
But I see too much arrogance to think that it's sustainable. But I'm open to being proven wrong.
See,
I like that. You open for it.
Without question.
Okay.
When I watched Deion and when I watched what happened, okay, so I got into a little dispute on social media because somebody fired. They were talking about, he was over the top. And I said, and I'm part of the media now, but I think one of the greatest injustices and one of the greatest problems with the media is that when someone writes something or someone says something and they get proven wrong, they don't have to eat crow. They don't have to go back and recant. They don't have to go back and say they got it wrong. See, my brand is that, I don't bite my tongue. I tell it like it is, and it might not work on a national level sometimes, but that's in Philly, that flies because that's what they want. But when I get it wrong, like I said, Brandon Graham will never be a double-digit sack guy because I've been around football long enough to know I can look at a guy and tell you, guess what, he got 11 sacks last year. The minute he got 11 sacks, I went on air in postgame and said, hey, I got it wrong. Congratulations to Brandon Graham. I sent him a text, okay? And I think that's the way it should be. But you can't talk about Deion and you can't talk about his kids and what they can and what they can't do in the national media and think he ain't gonna come at you. You know who you dealing with. He's been arrogant, and I won't say arrogant. I'm gonna call Deion one of the most confident football players that I ever seen in my entire life. He's overly confident. If everybody else walked in that kind of confidence, they'd be amazed at what they can accomplish, okay? So you can't come at him and think that he's not gonna come back at you, You just can't.
Ed Werder didn't come at him.
That wasn't Ed. It wasn't Ed. He
was talking to Ed
No,
Werder.
Ed, it was the other guy. It was the Shanique guy.
I missed this. What are y'all talking about?
The guy wrote an article saying all this buzz
Sapp.
in college football right now.
Sapp, you in my lane.
I'll show you the guy.
No,
It wasn't Ed Water. It wasn't Ed.
Sapp.
It wasn't Ed. Why would he be asking Ed Water if he believed? What did Ed Water write?
Sapp. You know me and Ed Werder are peers.
Brother.
This would be like me arguing with you about Joe
you're
Green.
not. When I'm sitting here, I know the guy that he was
I know Ed Werder.
It wasn't Ed Water.
It was Ed
What
Werder.
did Ed Water write?
He didn't write anything.
When you say I read that bull junk, because you can hear the guy's voice in the exchange.
He was talking to Ed Werder.
It's an Indian reporter named Shadiq something, and he wrote all this noise about Colorado. We're just basically going to be talking about a 2-10 team or worse.
Ed Werder, I'm friends with Sapp.
Here we go.
I'm friends with.
You wasn't there.
I talked to Ed Werder.
Ed Werder cannot say that.
I heard Ed Werder's voice say, believe in what? That was Ed who said, believe in what? I know Ed Werder's voice.
Oh, no.
We're peers.
No.
Again, this is like me arguing with you about Derek Brooks.
Hey, you wasn't there. I got the video from the boys that's in there. I know exactly who he's talking to. I can show you the reporter with his tweet, because I even tweeted him. Come on, stop it.
After a while, I just let him sack me.
I do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just
What did Ed Werder write?
He didn't write anything.
Exactly.
And that's why.
He ain't talking to him. He said, I read that mess that you wrote. Do you believe? And the guy said, believe in what? That wasn't Ed Werder.
I believe they're going to win more than 2 games.
Absolutely. They'll be 2-0 after this week.
I think
a great player. This dude is. I don't think any of you guys could be great coaches. You're too great at players. But
I could.
No,
you could.
You know what you got to be.
You could be a great coach.
I could.
You know what you got to be.
But now, later in my
Later in life, because we've learned.
and I'm not as
hot-headed and fly off the handle as we were.
Sometimes it's best to just pause, think about it, rather than talking or yelling or screaming. I think there's a call for that, if needed. But getting back to Deion, I think Deion's at a place in his life where he's ready to accept that role.
Absolutely.
He's a marketing machine. There's no question about it. You can't fault him for that. From day one, back in the day, maybe he when he was drafted and he was playing baseball and football, he was feeling it, and it was all because of him. Now he gives the glory to God
And himself.
Well, I mean, I think he deserves some.
I don't. Not as a Christian. I can.
Well,
we can,
and we can argue this. At what level of
Not-
Christian
I've
is?
accomplished, again, and he's not at a very high level. In the sports writing deal, I've accomplished a lot. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. Anything you accomplish on football, you may not know it, but one day you'll find out it didn't have nothing to do with you. This is for believers. This is for believers. If you're a believer, and it's just factual. And so I don't think Deion doesn't realize that, and I just think at our age,
nothing to do with this. It's already written. You just got to live it.
no, it's not written. But dude, I'm so flawed and so messed up and so.
Oh no, I'm born into sin. I got that part.
I'm so unworthy.
I only need faith as big as a mustard seed. I'm fine. You talk about a belief? No, come on. I was raised in the church. You beat me to Sunday school and you meet me at church.
Here's what happens though. Here's what happens with great athletes. It literally though. I mean, you have so much success, you get so much adulation, you get so that it clouds things, and you do start believing. You make your own self an idol. You make your own, and it's called idolatry. You make your own self an idol. I've been through it to a lesser level. To a far lesser level, but again, had a lot of success.
Y'all almost won.
So wait a minute.
No, I'm talking about as a journalist. As a journalist,
I'm just checking.
I'm a Hall of Fame journalist, sports journalist. I'm a Hall of Fame sports journalist.
They got one of those?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I've been through that mental deal where I thought I would, man, I'm it. Look, mama,
Jason,
daddy, everybody counting on me. Blah blah blah.
Have there been?
It ain't me.
Have there been coaches in the NFL that you think that have been non-players that are guilty of that same thing that had success?
Guilty of the coaches are arrogant. Yes, all of them. Even Bill Belichick's arrogant.
Absolutely.
He's had a ton of success.
That's the only way you're gonna be successful, though.
I know,
The
but
way you pick a rugby player in the third round and play like it's something that's good for the team.
the smart ones are at war with their arrogance. Deion is leaning into his arrogance and confidence. He thinks it's what makes him successful. That's a mistake.
I think you need to visit him. You ain't seen him in a while, have you?
Well, no, I haven't. And
you
so
need to go visit him.
And so all I can do is look at his post-game press conference. He came into his post-game press conference,
with receipts.
sat down, screaming receipts, then sat down and started talking about his kid, Shador, and then and then himself, and then finally, and then he started picking on Ed Werder and other people in the media and all this other stuff. And finally he got around to by Monday when he started going on Skip Bayless's show and Pat McAfee, he finally got around by Monday, started talking about the kids. Everybody else. And Deion is well-intentioned. But what happens and you guys know it because y'all have had a lot of success. You've been star athletes in junior high, high school, college, pros. And when you're paying all the bills, people don't question much of what you do. And it can create an arrogance that you need to be humbled from. And so there's, and because I've been through it, I've needed to be humbled greatly and very
You're a bad child too, so it might,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It might all be in one big cylinder here. You just spinning around.
Needed to be and that's all I'm saying. For long-term sustainable success, that arrogance is going to bite Deion in the rear end, in my opinion. I'm rooting for him. I hope that he finds this humility. I hope he hears me if he happens to hear this in context. I would love for Deion. You know who I had a very negative opinion of for years? Michael Irvin. And then I sat down with Mike, and I'm like, oh, my God.
That dude's passionate
About
everything.
Yes, and he's authentic. And I get all the flaws, because every mistake that Michael Irvin ever made in his life, I'm very capable of having made that mistake. Every last one.
We all are.
And so I love Michael Irvin. After sitting him down with him and seeing where he's from, I've sat down with Deion. Because, me and Deion have had disagreements over the years, and I've sat down with Deion. I think Deion's well-intentioned, but he's still drunk on his success, and I get why.
Okay.
I get why, but I hope he comes out of it. We can all recover from it. Dude, I mean, and again, on this show, and this Seth done said it, and you know, I always keep it real. And that's why I'm glad. I mean, this conversation's been awesome. It's everything that I dreamed
thought it would
about.
be.
Yeah, everything
Good.
from all of you. Because I do want to just have a real, but if you listen to the show, man, Sapp, I talk about it all. I used to live in strip clubs. I used to live chasing 25-year-old. You know, I used to, you know, and I talk about all of it. And I needed to be snapped out of that and humbled. And I left LA and a lot of money on the table because I needed to get right.
It's okay.
Can I make this analogy? You know, a leopard might never change his spots, but he does shed a couple of times in his lifetime. Okay? So while Deion might not be able to change his spots, you know, the transformation, you know, he's seen it up close and personal. The one thing he's passionate about what he does. He's passionate about these kids. And I believe he's going to upset the apple cart of NCAA football, because he's going to start snatching more of those top 150 athletes, and it's going to piss off Georgia and Alabama and everybody else in college football.
Did you see what ATM brother said?
Who?
ATM from
no.
Jacksonville?
No.
His
Oh,
little
yeah.
brother
Oh, he
plays
told
at
his little
Florida.
brother. Yeah.
So you might need to go see Prime.